If you're an international student thinking of going to grad school, it can feel like a maze. From applications to tests to visas, the whole thing. I have been there before and I learned a lot of things the hard way. So let me help you skip some of that stress. Hi, my name is Rotachi and this is whatever this is. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. This channel is tailored towards faith, fitness, lifestyle, adulting, and everything in between. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will go straight into the video now. So on today's episode of Adulting, let's talk about finding a grad school as an international student. The first question you should ask yourself is, why do you want to go to grad school? Is it for career advancement, for research experience? Are you trying to switch to a different field? Is it for immigration purposes? This reason will guide whatever decision you make down the line, from program choice to location. The next thing after knowing why is knowing what program you want to study or what program field. And by program field, I mean, what do I want my program to be focused on? It doesn't have to necessarily be just one program title. Don't just go for any program because it is available. Because while it might get you where you want, there is life after school, and whatever program choice you make would eventually affect you down the line. So there are a few things to consider before you select a program. First of all, do you want to go for a master's program, a PhD program, or a program that combines both master's and PhD? For the master's and PhD combination, it takes an average of maybe 4 to 7 years. There are also options of dual master's degree where you can study, say, an MBA and some other course and combine it. So by the end of like maybe 3 years, you come out with a dual degree, so 2 master's degrees in 2 different programs. And from there, we move to whether the program is thesis-based or course-based. Now, if it's thesis-based, that means there is a research aspect to that program. And by the end of your study, you have to do like some form of thesis defense before you can get your degree. Course-based, on the other hand, is based on courses. So you have a list of courses to complete in that program for you to get your degree at the end of your study. Bear in mind that both options have pros and cons. So you have to think of the structure, what structure you want your program to be. And from there, you think about career projection. Is this program in demand right now? Is it going to be in demand by the time I'm done with the program? And what are the job opportunities like for people that have studied this before you move to the next step? The next step is finding a school. There's a plethora of resources online that you can use. When I started my grad school journey, or when I was just starting, I used a portal called mastersportal.com. This is not a paid ad or whatever. It helped me. I also know there is something called gradschools.com. You can also do just a basic Google search. I think that's where I eventually ended up finding my school. I did a basic Google search. I just said, oh, top schools that offer this, in the US. And it was part of the list. You can also use AI. If you are using AI, take it with a pinch of salt because it doesn't always give you the right information or the correct information or the full picture. I have a list of at least 9 schools. 9 schools might seem excessive, but don't worry, you'll narrow it down eventually. Divide these schools into 3 groups. One is what I like to call the high-reach group. And then the next one is what I like to call the medium or the match group. And the last group is what I like to call the safety schools. The high-reach schools are the top ranking schools. We have Harvard, MIT, and the rest. The match schools are schools that have a good ranking. They are not as high as the top ranking schools, but have a good ranking, have a good reputation. And those are like mid schools that you can match with based on your qualifications, based on your experience. And then the safety schools are schools that you're almost 100% sure that if you apply, you're going to get into them. I get asked a lot, oh, how do I go about this? So I tell this to everyone. Have these 3 groups. It is okay to shoot for the stars. It is okay to shoot for the top ranking schools. And if that's the only thing you want to focus on, by all means focus on that. However, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because while it is noble and it is a good idea to shoot for the high ranking schools, they tend to be more competitive, they tend to be more strenuous, they tend to take more time, they tend to be more strict. So it's good to have options that you know that, oh, if this doesn't pan out, if this doesn't work out, I have other options, I have other alternatives. So don't put all your eggs in one high ranking school basket. After having this group of 9 schools, you can now go to the individual school websites and then start getting more information about the program. You get the deadlines, you get what is required for you to apply, you get what the tuition looks like. So take note of those deadlines. It's very important to know. So have a list, maybe an Excel sheet. If you're like me and you enjoy writing, have a book. I still have the book that I used for my grad school prep. So have a book, write down the name of the school, write down the application deadlines, and work based on that timeline. And then figure out what other documents they need. Does the school require that you do a GRE test? Does the school require that you do GMAT? Does the school require that you have an English proficiency test score? These days, GRE is being phased out, so are English proficiency tests for English speaking countries. So you can check, the websites usually have a list of countries that are exempt from English proficiency tests. Also, most schools will want you to write a personal statement or a statement of purpose, and some of them would even give you a prompt on what you put in your statement. So find out reference letters. Usually, the average number of reference letters that they want is 3. So have in mind the people that can give you reference letters. And then the next thing thing is your transcripts. Do they take your transcripts the way it is? Do they require that you have it professionally evaluated? If you're going through the professionally evaluated route, be prepared to spend money, maybe $250 to $300. And then the next thing after your transcript is, what is the tuition like? How much is it going to cost? Are there scholarships or tuition remissions available for me? Do they have a graduate assistantship program that can help out with this? Now, for context, graduate assistantship can either be research assistantship or teaching assistantship. For research assistantship, you'll be working under a supervisor in a research setting, so you'll be helping them out with their research. You also have the teaching assistantship, where you can be an assistant to an actual professor and help them out with maybe scoring tests or monitoring tests, or just, helping out with classes. Usually, if you're a teaching assistant or a research assistant, they will be giving you some form of stipend, and then to also cover your tuition. Most times it's 100% tuition remission, meaning that you don't have to pay anything. There are some that give just a percentage of maybe 50%, 75%. There are some that give like full tuition remission, but you have to take care of your health insurance. Now, not every program has that kind of structure of graduate assistantship. There are also scholarship programs that you can go through and apply for. Some of them are merit-based. Some of them have a deadline for application, and you have to meet that deadline to be considered. Also, in line with the tuition remission and scholarship, there's something called work study, and it's basically you can be studying and be working at the same time. For the most part, as an international, you most likely have to work on campus, but it's more nuanced. If it's something you are considering, make sure that you have the full picture. Ask the program director or whoever is in charge. So put all that into perspective. Before you know it, you have dropped down from whatever number of schools you have to maybe 6 schools that you can now work with based on what you want. A very important question to ask is if your school is knowledgeable when it comes to international students. This is one of the things I learned the hard way, because my school wasn't necessarily aware of a lot of international student processes. So there were some mistakes that were made on the staff end of things that eventually, unfortunately, affected me. Make sure that whatever school you're going for, they have a good knowledge of international students, not just for your visa end of things, but to make a smoother transition for you when you enter into the grad school. You can ask questions like, oh, what is the ratio of international students to the whole total number of students you have? Because the less they know, the more work it is for you to try to figure it out. The next thing, and one of the most important things, is to have a budget. Applications cost a lot of money. We're talking maybe $50 to $120 per application. Have it in mind that as you are going into this process, you're going to be spending a lot of money, and prepare for it. There are ways to cut costs. You can ask about application fee waivers, but for the most part, you're going to be spending a lot of money. And also take note of the fact that these tests that I mentioned previously, they cost a lot of money. There are a few red flags to take note of. Number one, if the school has no or low funding. Number two, if the school is not accredited. Unaccredited schools are just schools that will just give you a certificate that holds no water, because in the eyes of the country's government, they are not qualified to hand out diplomas or certificates. The third thing to take note of is if your school is part of an immigration body, it's part of the schools that are recognized by an immigration body in whatever country you are in or you are looking at. For US, the name of that immigration body is SEVIS, Student Exchange and Visitor Information System. Every school that an international student can enroll in has to be part of the service program, and it is the only way you can get a document that you would need for your visa. So before you go ahead and pay for application fee for a school, make sure that this school can actually give you the document that you need to go and get your visa. One more red flag to note is the unresponsiveness of professors. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say 100% of the professors you email will respond to you. In fact, it's highly likely that it will be maybe 50%. And out of that 50%, half of them will still say, I don't have vacancy for a new student. But if it's a trend where it's like you email 3 to 6 professors and you never get any feedback, it's been 2-3 weeks, you don't hear from them, maybe you have sent another reminder email and you still don't hear from them, take it as a sign and leave that school alone. So make sure that you take note of those red flags. Don't be scared to ask questions. You won't believe the amount of information or benefits you can get just by asking questions. Remember that you also have a right to get information. As long as you are polite and you're doing it through the right means, you never know what benefits or what more information you can get that can help you in your process. And do not be faced by rejections. Trust me, you might get a few, maybe 1 or 2. Remember that you haven't put all your eggs in one basket, number one. Number two, you have put in the work, and eventually everything will end up making sense. And that's how you build a smart, realistic grad school list as an international student. If this video helped you, stick around. In my coming videos, I will talk more about the whole process. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Please get me to 100 subscribers, guys. Please. And look out for more of my videos. This is not all this channel is about, so it's a healthy mix of everything. And if you know this helped you, please leave a comment in the comment section and I'll do well to respond when I can. This has been whatever this is today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!